Hi guys, I'd like to introduce myself and welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Lisa and I've been living with dysautonomia for 24 years. So I thought that I would do a YouTube channel to help others with this syndrome and also family members of loved ones who have dysautonomia. I have been helping a lot of people in multiple Facebook support groups. So I thought that maybe it was time to kind of take this to social media and help out as many people as I can. So I'd like to start off my first video telling you a little bit about myself. The first time I ever had a syncopal episode, I was 9 years old. And I would always tell my mom that I always had a weird feeling in my heart, some like fluttering and stuff like that. They were never able to find anything. Then when I was 18 years old, I had another syncopal episode, went to the hospital, and they wanted to do a spinal tap to see if I had meningitis, and there was just a lot of doctors kind of confused as to why I had passed out, and then they kind of just chucked it up to, you know, a single episode and didn't make a big deal about it. So about a month passed by and I did have another one, and I started to get a little bit worried, and I was having more and more frequent trips to the ER and nothing ever came of it. Fast forward a year, I started having syncopal episodes every month, at least once a month. And still doctors, you know, wasn't sure. They would say that I had just vasovagal syncope, I got up too fast or anything like that. And then when I hit 20 years old is when I really went downhill. I would pass out at least once a week. A lot of things started changing. I started having a lot of abdominal issues, severe headaches, and just a lot of things happening to my body that I didn't quite understand, and of course nobody else understood. Finally, I went to go see a cardiologist. Everything came back fine. I went to another cardiologist for a second opinion. Again, they said your heart is healthy. They did an echocardiogram, and nothing. Needless to say, by the time I got to the fourth cardiologist, because the third one told me I was a hypochondriac, and that didn't sit very well with me. So I was in the emergency room and a different cardiologist came to see me and said that he wanted to do a tilt table test. So we finally did the tilt table test, and it showed that within 7 minutes of me standing, my heart stopped completely. So they redid it one more time a few weeks later just to see, and once again my blood pressure plummeted and I flatlined yet again. So the decision to put in a pacemaker was decided, and I did that. And then we started with Florinef and Midodrine, and now this is going back to the year 2000, so there's really not a lot of info. I was just told that I have autonomic dysfunction. I never heard the term dysautonomia, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just dysautonomia is an umbrella term for autonomic dysfunction. And then about a year later, they said that you have neurocardiogenic syncope, NCS. So at least I had an answer. when I was 24, I became pregnant with my first child, my only child, and having the extra water in my system, I was not really passing out much. I only passed out once, and it was caught on the pacemaker. So at least, that episode was recorded, and it did show that my heart rate dropped 30 beats within 10 seconds. So I'm kind of, living life as a mom, married and got a little one. And I'm always having GI issues. Never ever thinking, no one ever told me. I don't even know if it was known back then that my GI issues were caused by my autonomic dysfunction. And I have had many, 20 to be exact, small bowel resections. My motility was terrible. I would throw up all the time. I would be constantly nauseous. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would look like I was 9 months pregnant. I was always in constant pain. I would have trouble urinating, and just all the typical things that we know now after more research has been done that is due to having dysautonomia. As I got older, my condition worsened year by year. I'm 42 years old now. I've had 30 major surgeries and over close to 200 minor procedures. Living with, now I have pure autonomic failure, is difficult. It's completely debilitating. I worked in the medical field as a cancer researcher for liver cancer. I can no longer work. I became a liability, working in the OR and passing out all the time. But honestly, I wouldn't hire me because you never know. We could have a good day one day and terrible for the next 3 weeks or months. We never know how long our episodes are going to last us. So I have clinically died 8 times. And I've always asked myself, I must be here for a reason. I always have said I get my strength from being a mother. I want to be here for my son. I don't want to miss out on life. I'm naturally a fighter, not mentally, not physically. I'm stubborn. I'm not going to give in. When I'm in the hospital, I don't even wear a hospital gown. I get dressed. I do my hair and makeup. I refuse to lay down and die. It's not going to happen. And I'm usually in the hospital for a month or more at a time. And I think mentally, if you just lay there and allow yourself to wallow and feel sorry for yourself, you are going to die. And I refuse to do that. And now I want to help people who are feeling at the end of their rope, because I know what that's like. I've had suicidal thoughts in the past. I am not ashamed to admit I did try to commit suicide once. I'm a suicide survivor. Living in our body is not easy. We're in constant pain every single day of our lives. I honestly don't even remember what it's like not to be in pain anymore. So if I have a pain day of a level 3, that's great for me, and then I'll overdo it and pretty much throw myself into an episode. But I'm trying to get better with that. Now, what I want to do with you guys is I have gotten many messages from other patients on support groups, private messages, people asking for help. I've met so many great people, and after really thinking about this for actually a year, I finally have decided I'm going to go through with this, and I'm going to do this YouTube page. And now that you guys know about me, eventually what I want is for people to send me questions and topics that they would like me to talk about. And I will share my experiences with it if I have had it, because I have had many different experiences. You know, some that were so debilitating that I became paralyzed for a couple of months, and have been, you know, I'm no longer in a walker or a wheelchair, you know, but a lot of us are not that lucky and have to be in a wheelchair. And even though you Google dysautonomia and it says that it's, you know, not terminal, this is where it gets confusing in a medical sense. And the reason why it cannot say that it is terminal is because our brains are basically sending the wrong signals to our organs. So when my small bowel perforated, and I almost died from that, my cause of death would have been a perforation of the small bowel. Even though it was caused by having dysautonomia, that's not the cause of death. If I've had respiratory failure before and have stopped breathing, so if they were not able to revive me, my cause of death would have been respiratory failure, which again is caused by dysautonomia. So even though when you're on Google and pretty much doing your research on this syndrome, you feel, okay, so I'm not gonna die, you know, this isn't terminal, but that truly really is not the case. I've died 8 times, so it's not the case. But I wanted to introduce myself to you guys, and I'm gonna try to get more comfortable with the camera. Never done anything like this before, but my goal is to help as many patients suffering with this as I can. We need a tight support system, because living in this body is hell. It's absolute hell. It can destroy our relationships. It puts pressure on our family. You know, it is very hard on the people around us. We cancel last minute when we have plans sometimes. You know, we look normal. We look absolutely healthy. I mean, I look like the picture perfect of health. I look so healthy, and I'm far from being healthy. I've been on TPN so many times. I mean, my esophagus barely works sometimes, you know, so it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. Yeah, great, we look good, but we don't feel good, and we feel like we are dying on a daily basis, basically. So that is why we call this the invisible syndrome. It's, again, I just want to make clear, it is not a disease, it is a syndrome. So I know a lot of people do think it is a disease, but it is not. It is a syndrome. So being in the medical field, I will definitely use medical terms, but I will try very hard to make sure that I speak in layman's terms so that everybody understands. Because I do notice that sometimes in the support, I've had people ask me what some things are. What do I mean by certain things? So feel free to call me out, that's fine. So I'm gonna end this right now, and I'm gonna post it, and I am gonna hope that we can help people and get this community together and help each other. And I will give you my email, which is dysautonomialife@gmail.com. Feel free to send me topics that you would like me to discuss, and we'll do that. And I look forward to connecting with fellow patients, and I look forward to building a tight community because it's time that we're heard. I'll see you soon, and I look forward to this new chapter with you guys. Bye-bye.